This video is sponsored by Lotus Tools Philippines, Pioneer Wood Glue, Powercraft Blades, and Torque. All tools and items will be in the description box down below. Check the link. Now on to the video.
So this is all of the wood I need. This is beechwood, around 25 pieces, 2x8s. I already milled half of them, or I think a quarter. Here. Yep, I think almost half. These is kasama yan. This plus that, 9 planks. So that leaves me with, quick maths, I think 14. Joke, 25. 16. Wow. 16 more planks to go. So, yep. Let's get to milling so I could do the first glue up. This is going to be an Endgrain countertop. Yeah, Endgrain countertop. Yeah. Great idea. Let's go.
To start the project, I'm going to cut the planks in half to make them more manageable. Beechwood is a very heavy wood, so cutting it in half and making them more manageable to carry around, to cut, will save your life. Really, it will save your life. If you notice, I'm taking multiple passes with this crosscut because sometimes it kicks back. So yeah, taking multiple passes eliminates the kickback on the crosscut sled, and yeah, it's because I'm trying to crosscut a not even wood. It's not flat, straight, square, so it will kick back. Next, I'm going to run it through the planer so that I could have a flat surface. This is Lotus's thickness planer, 2000 watts and equipped with a helical blade. I'm going to run all my planks through the planer before I rip cut them. Next, I'm setting up the table saw so that I could rip cut all the planks that I have planed. For a nice end grain, the rip cut width should be the same as the thickness of your wood so that it will turn out square as much as possible. So my final thickness on my planks are 1.75 inches. So that means I'm rip cutting them into 1.75 planks. Sticks. What do you call them? Dos por dos. I am using Powercraft's 30-tooth blade, by the way. It is a fine ripping blade. It has a carbide tip and it cuts through the beechwood so smooth. I'm taking it slow because you can't really deny the hardness of beechwood. Since I cut my 2x8x8 into half, I have 50 pieces of 4-foot planks. Each plank gives me an average of 4 dos por dos, or 1.75 by 1.75, which puts me around 200 pieces of the planks. I will glue up everything after this, and yeah, if you can only imagine, the glue up was a nightmare. There's so plenty. Speaking of glue up, I'm going to use Pioneer's wood glue, which is water resistant, durable, and has a manageable curing time, which is why I chose this glue for my end grain project. So this is glue up number 1 for an end grain chopping board. You need to apply glue on the face side of your plank and then turn it around so that the edge side is on top. So basically, the first glue up is you're making an edge grain chopping board. And by the way, I wipe my glue before it dries because it is so much easier for me to clean up compared to letting it dry and then taking it off. So after the glue has been dried, my clip was lost where I send it through the planer again before I cross cut. So after the glue dries, you send it to the planer so that you will have a flat surface. Then we are going to cross cut the edge grain chopping board. The width of your crosscut will determine the final thickness of your end grain chopping board. So since the final thickness I want of this chopping board is around 1.5 inch, I'm cutting this 1 3/4 inch so that after flattening and everything sanding, I will be left with 1.5 inch thick end grain. So now you can only just imagine how much I'm cutting. That was 25 planks of 2x8x8s cut in two, and then 200 pieces of 2x2. And now I'm cross-cutting everything. But it was fun. This build was honestly so much fun to do. It is a countertop, big size. It was fun. This is the second and final glue up of an Endgrain chopping board. After fixing the orientation of the Endgrain chopping board, I flipped the wood so that you could apply glue on that side, and then flip it back up so that the Endgrain is facing up. I'm using pipe clamps for everything since it is a readily available clamp, much more durable than F clamps or other clamps, more cheaper than parallel clamps, so that's why I'm using it. And of course, wiping the glue with a wet rag. Let's go. So if you were doing a chopping board, that would be the last step. But I am going to make a countertop, so I need to joint all these chopping boards and glue them together. So what you just saw was me jointing all the edges of the chopping boards I made, then gluing them up all together. These are the extra steps for making the countertop, since it is a 2 feet by 12 feet countertop and the other one is 3 feet by 8 feet. You can only just imagine the glue up again. So yeah, jointing them and then gluing them again. And then after that, we're going to finally go to the flattening. I am using Lotus's Plunge router and a flattening bit. I'm just securing the sides with some scrap plywood so that the Endgrain countertop will not move while flattening. I'm using also a router sled so that I could flatten the countertop. Now, when flattening, always make sure not to take too much material out. 1/8 of an inch is a good rule of thumb every pass. Also, take your time, don't rush it, don't push it too fast to have a cleaner surface. And the warning, flattening anything will produce so much sawdust, so be prepared. But of course, it will result into a flat countertop. Those are the router marks. It is easily removed by sanding. I'm going to start with 80 grit, 120, 180, 220, and then finally 400. I am not going to show you the whole sanding process since it took me 6 hours to sand everything. Yeah, you can only imagine. To reiterate, I started with 80 grit to remove all the rough material and then finished with 400 grit so that you have that smooth surface. This is the best way, by the way, to sand. Use 2 sanders. It will double the speed. I promise. And finally, applying finish. This is just mineral oil, nothing too special, mineral oil. And as you can see, it brings out the beautiful color of the beechwood. I did not take a video of me installing the countertop since it was another bloody process. So here are the finished products. So remember to like and subscribe if I've earned it, comment down below what you think, and share this to your friends. See you in the next one. Bye!